Welcome back to the series. In part 1, we explored how to create a well-structured landing zone for managing multiple AWS accounts efficiently. We set up foundational organizational units, configured shared accounts for centralized logging and auditing, and introduced governance through guardrails and policies. Today, in part 2, we'll focus on creating new organizational units, setting up new AWS accounts in the Control Tower, bringing existing accounts created outside the Control Tower's governance, and moving an account between OUs. Now, you might be wondering about the OUs we created in part 1. Those were foundational OUs established as part of the landing zone setup, including the log archive and audit accounts. In this part, we'll dive into creating additional OUs and managing them under Control Tower. I'm Cloud Architect Pro. Let's get started. After setting up AWS Control Tower with IAM Identity Center, you'll see an organized and intuitive layout on your AWS Access portal. This dashboard displays essential accounts configured during the initial setup, including the audit account, log archive account, and root account or management account, each serving a distinct role in securing and managing your AWS environment. The audit account configured in Part 1 is designed for security monitoring, consolidating logs from CloudTrail and other security services. The log archive account centralizes logs from multiple AWS accounts, making them readily available for auditing, compliance reviews, and troubleshooting. The root, or management account, serves as the primary hub for managing Control Tower and overseeing your account structure. This foundational setup establishes a centralized and secure environment to manage your AWS accounts. AWS Control Tower enforces governance by applying guardrails and best practices for logging, security, and cost management across all connected accounts. To begin managing your AWS Control Tower setup, click on the AWS Administrator Access Permission Set. This will open a new tab in your AWS console. From there, navigate to Control Tower, where we'll dive into the detailed steps for managing and scaling your Control Tower environment. Let's get started. Here's an overview of the topics we'll cover. Creating an organizational unit, OU, and enabling a control in the AWS Control Tower dashboard. Launching a new AWS account through Account Factory as an AWS Control Tower admin user. Modifying the network configuration of Account Factory. Moving an account between OUs. And logging into the newly created AWS account. Let's dive in. An organizational unit, or OU, is a container for AWS accounts, allowing you to apply consistent policies to all accounts within it. This enables centralized management and governance across multiple accounts. OUs help you group accounts within your organization, making it easier to apply policies and streamline account administration. You can create and add new OUs to your organization at any time, tailoring your environment to meet evolving governance needs. In the AWS Control Tower dashboard, click Organization in the left panel. Click Create Resources, top right, and then select Create Organizational Unit. Provide a name for the OU. For this lab, call it Nebula Labs. Select the parent OU. For this lab, select Root. Click Add. You'll see a blue banner stating Registering Organizational Unit, Nebula Labs. Wait for the green success notification, confirming that Nebula Labs was registered successfully. With our new organizational unit created, let's set up a new AWS account. In the AWS Control Tower console, navigate to Account Factory from the left sidebar. Click Create Account to open the account creation form. Note, make sure you're not logged in as the root user, as AWS Control Tower cannot create accounts from a root session. You can create up to 5 accounts simultaneously. Complete the form. Account email. Enter a unique email address, such as testaccount1@nimbusnebula.com. AWS sends an invite to this email address to set up access for the account, allowing this designated user to securely manage the new AWS account from within IAM Identity Center. The email serves as the login for the Identity Center user in this AWS account. Display name. Enter a name for the account. This name will appear in the IAM Identity Center portal, for example, Test Account 1. Access configuration. Here, you'll configure access for the account's IAM Identity Center user. IAM Identity Center. User email. Enter the email address of the designated IAM Identity Center user. This address will receive an invitation to complete setup. In this case, I will enter Cloud Architect Pro 1 at nimbusnebula.com. Now enter the IAM Identity Center username. This field is intended for a first and last name to create an IAM Identity Center user. Example: I'll enter Cloud Architect Pro, but feel free to use any name you prefer for your user. This name will act as the display name in IAM Identity Center, making it easier to identify this user within the system. Organizational unit. Select an organizational unit OU for your new account. This will enable all the relevant guardrails and policies, ensuring proper governance. Choose a registered OU where the account will reside. In this case, I'm selecting Nebula Labs, which we just created. Click Create Account. Soon, the email address we provided, testaccount1 at nimbusnebula.com, will receive an invite notification to set a new password for the AWS account's user. Let's double check. Yes, we have received the email from Amazon. You can monitor the launch status from the account page in the Control Tower console or from the AWS Service Catalog dashboard under the Provisioned Products list. When provisioning a new account, Control Tower creates a VPC network based on the settings in the Network Configuration section, replacing the default VPC. Current account factory settings are static, applying across all accounts provisioned. To provision unique networks for accounts example, for VPC peering, you can manually adjust IP ranges for each account. If you want to create multiple accounts with unique, non-overlapping default networks for use in a VPC peering setup, you would need to manually adjust the IP range in Account Factory before enrolling each account. This process can be cumbersome for certain applications, so some customers may choose to disable the default network configuration feature for greater flexibility. Disabling Account Factory network configuration. To disable automatic VPC creation for customized network setups, go to Control Tower console and select Account Factory from the sidebar. In Account Factory, under Network Configuration, click Edit. Deselect all regions and click Save. Upon success, you'll receive a confirmation. Disabling network configuration allows for customized account setups, giving you greater flexibility. Now let's see moving an account between organizational units. This process applies only to AWS accounts created through AWS Control Tower. To proceed, you need a second OU beyond the default security and Nebula Labs OUs. You can either use the sandbox OU created during the initial setup or create a new OU by following the steps in the OU management guide. Now in the Control Tower dashboard, select Organization from the navigation menu. Locate the desired account, which might currently be in the Nebula Labs OU. Click to expand Nebula Labs, and you'll see Test Account 1 listed there. Select the radio button next to this account to select it. Now let's move the account. For that, click the Actions drop-down in the top right corner of the screen and choose Update under Account. Under Update Account, you'll see Account Details. These fields are read-only and cannot be modified in AWS Control Tower. Access Configuration. Here, you can change the IAM Identity Center user-assigned AWS Administrator access permissions. Organizational Unit. Choose the new OU where you want to move the account. In this example, select the Sandbox OU as the destination. By selecting an OU, all configured controls for this account will be enabled. Click Update Account at the bottom of the screen to finalize the move. The time required to move an account to a new OU in AWS Control Tower can vary. Generally, it takes from a few minutes to about an hour, depending on the account size and the number of controls applied. Now, let's expand the Sandbox OU. Here it is. Test Account 1 has successfully moved, completing the process. Now let's move an account between OUs and AWS organizations and register it in AWS Control Tower. First, we'll simulate an existing account by creating one directly in AWS organizations. In the AWS console, navigate to AWS organizations. Click Add an AWS account and fill in the following. Account name, Test Account 2. Email, testaccount2@nimbusnebula.com. IAM role, leave as default. Click Create AWS account and wait a few moments for the account creation to complete. Let's refresh the page to confirm. Under Organizations, we now see our new AWS account, testaccount2@nimbusnebula.com. We also received a confirmation email from AWS. Next, we'll create a new OU. In AWS Organizations, select the root OU. Click Create New, name the OU Nimbus Labs, and click Create Organizational Unit. Refresh the page, and you'll see Nimbus Labs under the root OU. Now, let's move Test Account 2 to Nimbus Labs. In AWS Organizations, select Test Account 2. Click Actions, then Move, and choose Nimbus Labs as the destination OU. Click Move AWS account. After moving, Nimbus Labs will appear as unregistered in AWS Control Tower. To verify, go to Control Tower, select Organizations, and Nimbus Labs should be listed as not enabled. Now let's register Nimbus Labs and its accounts in AWS Control Tower. OU and Accounts. We've chosen Nimbus Labs, which has one unenrolled account, Test Account 2@nimbusnebula.com. AWS Control Tower will enroll all unenrolled accounts in this OU. Permissions. The AWS Control Tower execution role will be added to each unenrolled account, granting Control Tower the necessary permissions. Pre-checks. AWS Control Tower performs checks to ensure smooth registration. If any issues are found, it pauses the process to address them. Controls. Preventive controls will apply automatically to this OU and any nested OUs, while detective controls need separate enablement. Agree and register. After agreeing to terms, AWS Control Tower will begin the registration, which typically completes within minutes. With that, Nimbus Labs is now registered and ready for secure management under AWS Control Tower. Enroll Test Account 2 in Control Tower. Expand Nimbus Labs. Select Test Account 2 to nimbusnebula.com. Click Actions and choose Enroll. The enrollment process will complete successfully. And that's it. We've successfully moved and enrolled Test Account 2 in AWS Control Tower under the Nimbus Labs OU. Thanks for following along. In Part 2, we expanded our AWS Control Tower setup by creating new organizational units, setting up new AWS accounts, and bringing in existing accounts created outside Control Tower. With these steps, you're well on your way to efficiently managing accounts and maintaining security and compliance as your cloud environment scales. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for Part 3, where we'll dive into advanced Control Tower capabilities. This is Cloud Architect Pro. See you next time.